Welcome to Good Follow, presented by DraftKings. I'm Ros Logan. That's my girl, Logan Hackett. Logan, what is up, girl? Where are you? I thought we were doing the studio thing in Miami.
I'm in Toronto and it is so cold. I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but it's like minus 21 outside. I hate it here. I need to come back to Miami.
Oh, I mean, not that it's like so warm here. It's a little rainy and cloudy, but I mean, I don't need a jacket. So
No.
I will say I miss you, girl.
I know, right? It feels so different like doing this from a distance.
Yeah, it does feel different, but I feel the energy and the love. And guess what? I got a surprise.
Wait, what?
I brought
We have gifts.
some props for the show.
Oh my gosh. Wait, what? I have so many questions.
I brought a bell. I'm workshopping a bell. Like if we're excited for exciting moments in the show. I don't know. And then I also found this at CVS. It is a little sign that says "In My Love Era," which I thought was so nice.
Adorable.
And I love iridescent things. So just like some mood setting for the table, and like a bell. Who knows? Okay, you never know.
I wish I was there now. I need like a soundboard, like a key that's like do-do-do-do.
Our show has to have the vibes, even in studio. Okay, but all right, let's obviously get to sports, right?
Yes, of course. And Ros, you had a huge weekend, and this plays into our first part, which is Unrivaled. On Monday night, the game between the Laces and the Mist put the cap on week one of the games. It was so incredibly huge. I enjoyed watching it. But how do you think this new format is working out?
Well, I think that Unrivaled was a hit. No, okay. We're workshopping the bell, but the product is great, and they could not have had a better first game where the winning score really showed how much urgency it puts to that fourth quarter, where every game ends with a game winner, and how perfect an iconic first moment in that game-winning situation from Skylar Diggins-Smith, where she's doing that fun little shimmy and dance, and it's a hooty-hoo to the fans, and it's an iconic moment that we'll all remember, and it showcased just how unique this format is and that it works.
She really walked him down on that one. Like, I absolutely loved it. But my main takeaway was how fast it was. Like, this is the type of thing you need to be watching the whole thing, first of all, but it's engaging to watch. Like, this is kind of really good for the people with short attention spans now, like our little TikTok generation, because it's keeping us intrigued. It is fun. It is powerful. It is fast. I'm obsessed with it. But I want to know, with this whole arena and like the layout and everything, what was the atmosphere like in there?
You know, it's awesome. It's compact and packed, and it's full. They've sold out all these games. It's only holding 800 seats, and I actually think they've already outgrown that. They could fill twice, three times the size of that arena, but it feels high demand and a hard ticket to get. And it's very star-studded. It is a who's who of the women's basketball scene. You know, it's not only do you want to come there and watch the games, but you might want to come there and network and rub shoulders. Like, I just worked Monday night's games, and there were so many WNBA coaches there. There was Becky Hammon. There was Kurt Miller and Coach Clannis, new to Dallas, leaving Dallas. Coach Latricia Trammell was there. New to LA and the Sparks, you had Lynn Roberts. You had Sylvia Fowles came through. I interviewed Jimmy Butler. It was so many just stars in the building. It was really cool.
It is truly the place to be. Oh my goodness. But week one brought some incredible gameplay as well, especially going with the fast pace. And Nafisa Collier put up 28 points in game one and 31 points in game two. Raj, you took note and said after the game, "I'm convinced we are in the Fee era. Like, Nafisa Collier is the one. In my honest opinion, we already know she's a big time star. I'm saying, I think there's higher, even more dominant levels coming." So what would a more dominant, elevated level of play look like for Fee?
You know, it's crazy. We're watching her in this 3-on-3 format. In 2 games of Unrivaled, she's averaging 29 points on 60% shooting. Now, I don't know how much you can compare, 3-on-3 to 5-on-5 stats, but I do know an eye test in basketball, and we are watching beautiful basketball from Nafisa. Like, if you want to learn the game and get better, just watch what she's doing when she doesn't have the ball in her hands. She's constantly moving. She really understands what to do after setting a screen. She has great motor. She's in great conditioning shape. She has great skill, great footwork, great shooting ability. She can score at every single range. And because it's just 3-on-3 and there's like not extra bodies crowding her, she's able to take advantage of the mismatch that she has every single time. She is a high IQ, cerebral player. She makes the game simple, and she literally makes the right decision all the time.
So she had a great season in the WNBA. Now she's killing it with 3-on-3. Would you predict a breakout season for her?
Definitely. I think she's already a star. Nafisa Kali is already a star in the WNBA, but I'm saying there's just like in sports career arcs, this natural evolution where there's a breakout. And I think we're seeing that for Nafisa. When you think about Fee, when she came into her pro career, she came to the Lynx and she was learning from Mama Sil. Sylvia Fowles was the leader of that team. Then there's the next step to understanding, okay, now the Lynx are my team. I am the star and the leader. Then she missed time to have her daughter, Mila, and having a baby. And there's just a natural just compounding of the years since pregnancy where your body just gets stronger and really is performing at its highest level. And we're seeing that. The individual accolades have started to pile up for her, whether, it's Olympic medals, whether it's the defensive player of the year or runner up for MVP. I also think it translates to the court, especially for women, when you just have more life experience and the confidence and empowerment that's now coming from her success in business with Unrivaled. That's got to be elevating her mentally, emotionally, and certainly elevating her status. And then one thing that I was thinking about, there's always a good villain origin story too. So like her losing in 2024 in the finals and going all the way to game 5 against the Liberty and falling short, like she's holding on to that. So there's some fuel there. So all of these things coming together, not to mention Fee is 28 years old. So she is just now entering her prime. This is the beginning of an era of her best basketball and even higher levels of domination.
That is so crazy to think about. I don't know. Like, I feel like I knew she was 28, but she's playing like a vet, like a 36-year-old vet in there. But she wasn't the only player to have big games. Who else do you think stood out this week?
Well, who did you see? Because Fee's my girl.
Ryan Howard. I was so impressed with the first game. Spin that record. Ryan Howard had 33 points. She pretty much carried the vinyl through that game. If it wasn't for her, even if she put up like, what's the math there? 6 points less, they would have lost that game. But I was very impressed by Dearica Hamby. To me, she's more of like a defensive player. That's kind of where she's excelling. And in game 1, she put up 17 points, 13 rebounds. And then the second one, she led with 22 points and 5 rebounds. I did not expect to see that type of play from her, especially in week 1.
Yeah, and she's like the vet of her team too. I watch her in practice and she's doing all the talking. Everybody's listening. She's like Mama Dearica. You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, I love that. Was Amaya there?
I didn't see Amaya, but I did see Legend. I think both of her kids are here with her, though, in Miami and on campus. But a funny little nugget there, Ray Burrell, who played with her in the Sparks and stuff, kind of younger player up and coming in the W, she was telling me how much Dearica's her OG and her vet and looking out for her. And literally, like, she would go and be with Dearica in Vegas at her house. Like, she's taking Amaya to school to help her out. And she said, I actually feel like I'm Dearica's third kid because Dearica will make sure that I've, like, eaten through the day. I'm talking about this is a vet. This is her OG looking out and making sure she's good, like, on and off the court. So she's dope.
Oh my goodness. I do want to transition into free agency though, which is huge. And I feel like it's kind of intersecting with Unrivaled, with like having the news come out at the same time. But a player who turned down an offer from Unrivaled, but recently just earned a historic national honor from her college is Kelsey Plum.
Yeah.
Plum is one of the most decorated college basketball players and had her jersey retired last weekend. So I want to know, how did her career help shape women's basketball, especially you were covering it the whole time. So you kind of got an inside perspective on it.
Yeah, I used to work for Pac-12 Networks. I played in the Pac-12 at Stanford, but I saw all of Kelsey Plum's college career, and she's always had that dog in her. She's always had that work ethic. She is highly skilled, and she tore these people up. And she could have went to Stanford and just went with the program that was already dominant, but instead she did it her way at UW and rewrote those record books. And, this is pre-NIL, pre some of the attention and investment we're seeing in women's basketball. And in some ways, when you think of women who rewrote the scoring records for college basketball, it was Kelsey Plum. Then Caitlin Clark passed her. So both of them had scored the most points in men and women's basketball. Don't forget Sabrina Ionescu in Oregon before Caitlin, who had the most triple doubles in college basketball, men or women's. So in some ways, I feel like Kelsey, walked so Sabrina could jog, so Caitlin could run, and as more like an avalanche of attention on women's basketball was coming.
And I have my thoughts on this. I feel like it's been weighing on my brain a lot, actually. She was recently cored by the Aces.
Yes.
Do you think she's going to return or land somewhere new in a sign and trade?
I think for Kelsey right now, she's just taking the time that this could be a time of natural change in her life and in her career. Don't forget, it's been a little bit of a tumultuous year, a tough year for her with some personal, issues. There was a public divorce, and she even just took some time for herself to gather, right? And then even with the Aces, they've had a lot of change within the organization. And they've had, Tyler Marsh or Natalie Nakase, both assistant coaches there, now go on to head coaching jobs. So I think it wouldn't be surprising for me to see Kelsey Plum decide she wants to move on, and respectfully to the Aces, just that, she has honorably played a great role within an organization, helps them win championships. And now maybe it's time for her to have her own team and be a star of the team and the go-to number one option. And she's certainly capable of that. I know she would enjoy that. So, when you see the Aces coring Kelsey, it's mostly to make sure that they don't have a player walk away of that level of talent and get nothing in return.
Exactly. And if she were to go to a team, do you have any predictions or anywhere you'd want to see her?
I am less good at that, but I could see her in the Bay. They're looking, as the full-on face of a franchise, and with a fan base that knows her well from her Pac-12 days.
Ooh, I would love to see her in Toronto. That's like my main
Oh, duh. I should have known you would have liked to see her in Toronto.
I think it would be, especially given that she needs change. Like if they had a team, if they were coming in this year, I'd say this is perfect for Miss Kelsey. But maybe if she can hold out a year and then come, I think it would still be as perfect.
Yeah, I think that'd be cute. Maybe you could be her tour guide.
Oh, Kelsey, call me.
All right, y'all. We have so much more, including an incredible guest, respected veteran WNBA player. My girl, Monique Billings, will join the show. We're going to talk more Unrivaled. We're going to talk college hoops. And of course, we're going to talk her Golden State Valkyries. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Good Follow, presented by DraftKings. I'm Ros Logan. That is my co-host, Logan Hackett. And Logan, we have someone very special joining us today. We have not just a guest, she is a reoccurring co-host for us joining the show, a respected veteran of the WNBA, of the Golden State Valkyries, giving us that insider understanding of the women's game, and also my personal friend, Monique Billings, the one, the only Monique Billings. That's right.
I feel like we should clap.
Hi,
You
guys.
need to clap after that introduction.
No, it was an amazing introduction. And she got a bell. Don't even need to clap. That's a bell, Ross.
We're workshopping the bell. This is a new thing we're doing today. It has a smiley face, and I feel like you being on the show deserves the bell.
It's so cute. I am so happy to bring out the bell. I love it. Thanks for having me, y'all.
Yes, girl, and we're excited because you're going to be a voice that's regular on the show, and there's no better way to discuss the WNBA and college hoops and women's hoops without speaking to somebody who's actually playing the game at the highest level and dominating. So it's really cool to have you on.
Thank
And especially
you.
to start the top of the year. It's 2025. And, I know you're very intentional about that. We were intentional about starting this year with you.
So, speaking of intentions, I love intention setting, especially at the top of the year. So, I wanted to ask you guys, what are your intentions for 2025?
Ooh.
Okay.
You
Oh, wait.
you
Go
go
ahead.
first, Logan.
I have a question first. What is the difference between a goal and an intention?
I like that. I feel like I don't know if I have an exact answer, but in my head, how I see it, an intention is something that you're going to commit to. A goal is kind of an outcome. This is what I would like to see happen from the fruits of my labor. But an intention is like, this is how I'm going to get to that goal. This is what I'm going to commit to get to that goal.
Mo.
Wow.
I already like what she's bringing to the show, man. I love it.
Hey, don't
Mo, we
gas me
needed
up, y'all.
this.
I might be wrong, but that's just how I see it in my head.
No,
Those
that
people.
is
Okay.
so good.
Thank you.
Well,
Go, Logan, go.
my intention is creating content that I love. I feel like I kind of got away from that last year. And
Okay.
another one would actually be like choosing myself
I
because
like that.
I tend to be a people pleaser sometimes and I get away from myself.
I love that. I think on my end, the word that I would use to set an intention with would be soft.
Mm,
And that's something that I've been holding on to since the start of 2025, like entering it, just
I love that.
softer in being softer on myself, having more grace, being softer in how I'm living my life, being slower, less in a rush, less oversubscribed.
Yeah.
To your earlier point, more focused on like the joy of what I'm doing than like what I'm trying to get done all the time. Softer, like even in how I'm moving. I don't need to be everywhere. I'm soft. I'm in my soft era. I'm at home. I'm watering my plants. I'm
Oof.
I'm sitting down and reading and working on being creative. And I'm giving myself time to do that, hours even. There's nowhere else I need to be that's more important. And
Ooh.
and just receiving that kind of softer energy, even from the people that
Mhm.
are dealing with me. I'm gonna be softer with them, but I want to be surrounded by softer energy towards me. So, how about
I
you?
love that. We're going to check back in June, and I'm going to ask how the content creation is going and how the soft era is going, okay?
Yes. What about you, Mo?
For me, my intention of 2025, my word is to bloom. And me going into a new team, new environment, new atmosphere, I'm just giving myself the space, the power to be present and to bloom like the flower that I am. So that's my intention for this year.
You
Oh
are a
my,
flower. Yeah, I mean, you've really brought so much beauty to our show.
Oh my gosh, you guys are gassing me up. 60 on Pump Mo. Thank you.
Come on now.
I feel so like calmed and like zen now. Like that was just so, what's the word? Maybe unleashing, but I do want to
Hmm.
get into more sports talk. And before you join, we were actually talking about Unrivaled, but as a WNBA player, I'm so curious to what your initial reaction was after the first week of games.
It's incredible. I
Hmm.
think it's so dope. I didn't know what to expect. I don't think anyone knew what exactly to expect, but it's just running at such a high level. So I think they're setting a tone, setting an example of what women's sports league should be. The players seem so happy. I love the BTS content.
Yeah.
Seeing the insides, the outs. Yeah, I'm here for all of it. It's super dope.
Yeah, I that's one thing that stood out to me, Mo. And I mean, all the players.
Yeah.
Everybody's really happy. I'm talking to them, and I think they're really happy because they're being treated so well. And that's a
Yeah.
natural reaction, right? So, Logan, to piggyback off of what Mo was saying, like Unrivaled doing so well has just showcased like it'll become a better product when you invest in that way.
Mhm.
And do you think that puts pressure on the current or maybe future leagues, like to raise the bar? This is the standard type thing?
Pressure is a really interesting word, but like I said, I think it sets the tone. I think it's like a standard. This is how we want to treat our athletes. And if I can attest to the W last season, kind of uh, owning up to that pressure, maybe. I don't know if pressure is the right word, but me finishing the season with Phoenix, they are doing that. Being in Phoenix, all I had to do was focus on being a basketball player. They had have a facility where you come, you eat, you get your treatment, massages, whatever you need is there. All you need to do is hoop. That's the best type of environment. And we're seeing different teams around the league creating those environments. And that's what is necessary to compete in free agency now. So I think the bar has definitely been set. Even having players staying home in market in off season is something that teams are wanting to do. So yeah, I think it's here, it's now. And I think Unrivaled is just a great example for teams to kind of latch on to as well.
It's crazy. Facilities like keep coming up as the selling point of why you want to be somewhere. And even if you aren't somebody that's playing at Unrivaled or Athletes Unlimited, you can stay home around your local market because there are high level facilities that you can keep working at your game with.
It might seem like such a small thing, but just being able to keep your shoes in the locker overnight throughout the week and not just having to take your stuff every single day back with you. It's like, oh, I can come back and my lotion, my shea butter, my lip gloss is all here. It's not like I'm at the rec and someone came and went through my stuff, went through my locker. So it's such an underrated blessing that people don't even think about. Just being able to have a space that's yours is very sacred. It's for the team. And so, yeah, it's so important.
I'm shocked. I didn't
Right?
even realize that. I didn't
Oh,
realize
yeah.
that was a reality.
First couple of years in the W, and I'm only speaking for myself. I know previous years there was probably even worse, but yeah, there wasn't a locker room where we can just keep our things. But that's small potatoes. Like I said, the W and all these other leagues seem to get the picture now, and so things are on the rise.
Yeah, and the only other thing I would add to that too that Unrivaled is differentiating itself with, because now we're seeing an arms race of facilities. The Indiana
Yeah.
Fever have, announced a new facility. Chicago has announced a new facility. Phoenix, who am I missing? Dallas has announced a new facility. But where Unrivaled, I've been really impressed, is that it's woman specific, it's female specific. There's things that cater specifically to women professionals. Not just that they got a weight room, but they also have an esthetician room where you can get, facials or whatever skincare you might need. There's childcare facilities within the campus, for mothers. Like, these types of things go a long way when you're saying, hey, athlete, our person that works in our company, we care about you. We want you to be excellent at your craft, and we will support you in every way possible that you exist.
I think it's important that you made that point because it's player led and it's player ran. So players are saying, if we can have anything, what will we have in this locker room? Oh, an esthetician? Yeah, a facial after practice sounds good to me. So the fact that players are having an input, being able to use their voices, even the smallest things, we live in an age of social media. How's the lighting in the locker room? How are the mirrors so we could take our selfies when we're walking in from tunnel walks? Like, it's just those small things. It might seem so minute to some people, especially men, but we're women. We're just girls. I'm just a girl. So we need these things.
Actually, one thing that Unrivaled has is incredible lighting everywhere. And they're very much aware of the opportunity, not just to take pictures. Let's not trivialize it like that. Yeah. For any athlete, man or woman, but let's be frank, especially for women, there is an opportunity to brand build and storytell and monetize via pictures and videos and storytelling about your lifestyle as an athlete, showcasing fit. And that's across any expression of femininity or type of, way that you go about your life. Great lighting goes a long way. These are details you don't think about. And it's especially important for women.
Exactly. And I can attest to that's something you've mastered, Ros. You always have great lighting around you, always glowing. So
girl, your glow, you always glowing, and I know that comes from within.
Yes, well, actually, you talking about social media and lighting and everything and Unrivaled, it makes me think of Angel Reese, who was doing so much. I feel like I'm seeing her everywhere. She was on the cover of Vogue. She hosts her own podcast and even debuted her signature rose sneaker at Unrivaled. So I'll start with you, Ros. Is anyone doing it bigger than Angel right now?
Doing it bigger is interesting, but I have great respect for the level that Angel Reese, and I'm sure she has a great team, are executing at. The way I see Angel is this player that, she's just constantly attacking the glass for rebounds. That's her strength. That's her superpower on the court. You can't keep her off the glass. She's on the attack. That's how I think she's attacking her branding and marketing opportunities. Because, we'll see the pictures of her at the Met Gala or doing the Vogue cover, and that looks very fabulous and fun. But that is hard work. That is hard scheduling and execution and glam sessions and early morning workouts. It is not easy to do everything that Angel Reese is doing. To do that Vogue cover and then to carry the weight of being the first WNBA player to have that opportunity. And that I don't think it's just the Angel Reese show. She's often shown respect to past vets, to her teammates. She recently just surprised her teammates at Unrivaled with those custom Ros sneakers that you showed. There's a thoughtfulness there. I mean, sure, it helps her ability to storytell, but she did that for her team. And then I thought this was really impressive. Unrivaled just started, and Angel Reese could have taken hiatus from her podcast, Unapologetically Angel, which I think is awesome, and she's crushing. But instead, within the first week of play, she has already used, they have 3 content studios there. She already used one to tape her show. There's a lot that goes into moving where a podcast is taped. And then used Skylar Diggins-Smith as her first, as the guest at the Unrivaled campus. So what I'm saying is there's incredible work ethic from Angel Reese, and the same tenacity that she has for rebounding. I see her using that to attack the bag. And overall, I'm very impressed with her. But what do you think, Mo?
I love that you said that, attacking the bag. And we talked about intention setting beginning of the episode. It just feels like she is being so intentional with every opportunity that comes her way. And from interviews that I've heard, it seems like these are dreams that she's had since she was a young girl. And so being intentional to attack the bag, to execute, it's really cool because it just seems like she had a vision. She sees where she wants her life to go. And it's like, sky's the limit. I want to be on a cereal box. I want to have a podcast. I see so much for her in her future. And I don't know why, when you guys said rose, I'm like, she should have a perfume, like a rose scented perfume or something like that. Like, I just see so much happening for her in her future. And even right now, super exciting for her. She's definitely setting like a blueprint for young players coming into the league.
Yeah, and people counted her out. They didn't think she was going to be as good as she was or as effective as she would be in the WNBA. She handled her business. And now the next task is to continue to improve. But I'm so excited you're here, Mo, because honestly, not for nothing, I'm watching and calling these games. I don't care what anybody says. They can't keep her off the glass. Veterans. She was a rookie last season. Veterans, star players. She's out rebounding them. She's beating them there. What is so hard about keeping Angel Reese off the glass, Mo?
It's the tenacity. Like, having played against her, it's different. Like, you see it on TV, you're like, man, she won't do that against me. And then it's like, you look up at the scoreboard after playing, it's like, wait, how'd she have 15 rebounds? Like, where did that come from? I'm supposed to be a great rebounder too. It's just angles. She does her work early, takes really great angles. You could see the way that she's like, the ball goes up, she's getting into someone's body as the ball is going up, but like at a super high level, because we all do that. We've all mastered the art of rebounding. If you're in the league, you know how to rebound. And some people at a higher level than others, but she's mastered it in a way to where I'm taking notes like, oh, okay, I see you. So it's super dope, but I'm very competitive. So I'm excited to play against her again this upcoming season, whenever that is.
Game recognized game. It's all respect. Like, it's just up in the bar. I love that. I love that. And as I mentioned before, Angel, did a podcast, taped her Apologetically Angel podcast on the Unrivaled campus. And she had Skylar Diggins-Smith on the podcast talking about NIL money opportunities, and basically how Skylar was like, she need her reparations because she came before that, and otherwise she should have been getting the money. Let's 100%. Take a listen.
When you were in college, though, well, now I guess looking back, I know you miss and wish you had NIL.
Girl, listen, I'm gonna have 3 more kids so I can get reparations for NIL. Because it was something we were like, I feel like we were lobbying for.
Yeah.
Like, why? When I walk into the bookstore, I see all these headbands being sold. I see all these kids wearing them, and I ain't getting nothing off of this.
What a great clip there, Mo. So how has the landscape changed from the pre-NIL era to the now existing NIL era for college athletes?
Well, I'll just say Skylar was the original NIL it girl. If we could say so, because I remember wanting those headbands, seeing those headbands everywhere, and she just knew how to brand herself, market herself. But before anyone else was even talking about these things, because it was so non-existent for college athletes at that time. But the landscape now, athletes just have so much agency in what they want to do and who they want to be in branding themselves. It's such an untapped space. And at that age, being in college, athletes are still trying to figure out who they are. So it's really interesting seeing that the power that they have of, I would like to work with this brand. This is something that I'm interested in. But at the same time, it's like, wait, who am I? And I also have class in 30 minutes and all these other things going on. So it's a really interesting landscape. I hope that these athletes have great mentors around them, kind of helping them navigate the process through it all.
Yeah, and I absolutely remember that time. I mean, Skylar was the it girl, and this was, and there wasn't the same way of social media following around women's hoops, and there certainly wasn't NIL, and those headbands were flying off the shelf. Like, she's easily, if she was in the NIL era during that time, I mean, Skylar missed out on millions of dollars. I'm not even going to try to hold you. And I remember, I mean, she's done great, right? Her life has been beautiful, but I remember because Sky and I were close because she came to Stanford on her official visit and was with NECA and myself. And she's such a respectful, like, young player. And I used to wear the tie headband at Stanford. Oh my gosh. I used to wear it. It was actually the Roger Federer tie headband, and I would order it in white and black and play with it. And I wore it for years at Stanford. And actually, Skylar Diggins, I'll never forget, calls me, and that's my homegirl. And she calls me. She was like, "Hey, Roz, is it cool? Like, can I rock the headband? Like, I know that was your thing, but is it cool if, like, I rock it?" And we often see each other, and I'll be like, "Yo, you were so respectful and cute." Like, and then let me be very clear. It is Skylar who popularized it and made it into this big thing where all the girls were trying to get their Skylar Diggins headband. But I've always loved and respected Sky. I think she's one of the best. So she might have missed out on millions, but for me overall with this current NIL landscape, I like the fact that young women have the chance to be millionaires, if they're great. And often it's really always been reserved for male players. And as young women, when I were coming up, we were always thinking about, well, if we're not going to be, maybe we won't be a pro. Let me just start preparing myself for life after basketball. And now there's this opportunity for that. It also brings me to talk more about college hoops. Mo, we got you here. Can you believe what a shame, first of all, what they did to Pac-12 hoops and the Pac-12 conference.
Isn't it so sad? RIP Pac-12.
Shame, shame, shame. A legacied conference you let go to waste. In my very biased, but also analytical opinion, Pac-12 women's basketball was the best in the nation, and they just broke all of that up. But USC and UCLA moved to the Big Ten. They're still together. And guess what? Sometimes when schools move to a different conference, it takes a while. They struggle at first. Yeah. Not your UCLA Bruins.
Who's number one in the nation right now?
I think who is number one? I forgot. Mo.
This little team called UCLA WBB.
Yeah, I think so. I've heard of them.
It's only been for about like 2 months now, maybe a little bit longer.
Number one in the nation. I think still undefeated. Even dare I say,
18-0. I think as of yesterday. Yeah.
All right, we get it, Mo. We get it. Your UCLA Bruins are doing so well. So because we have you here, and we'll talk with you more and more about UCLA basketball and college hoops when you're here, but just as a starter, what is it about Coach Close and this UCLA team that they've been able to just come out the gates and have such a great season this year?
I mean, the most obvious thing is recruiting. Coach Corey Close being able to recruit the star power that's come to LA. Yes, we have Kiki Rice, she's been there, but Lauren Betts running a campaign right now for Player of the Year, which is super exciting for her. And Coach Corey has just always run a very tight-knit type of system. What I appreciate about her is that she knows who she is and what she wants her team to be. And it's all about buy-in on any team, but it just really looks like her team has bought into her system. And shout out to Coach Corey, Coach Shannon, who are still there. They were there coaching me when I was playing at UCLA. But yeah, it just looks like the team is having so much fun, and winning is the best type of deodorant ever, right? We haven't seen them lose a game yet. So there's no reason that they're not having fun. But again, every single game, it just looks like they're locked into the game plan. They have their stars, but even the supporting role type players come in, make an impact, hit threes, get those clutch rebounds. And so I love watching them play. And you brought up USC as well. There's a lot of star power just in LA as a whole. Juju, Kiki Riaffin, killing it. And I can't wait to see that matchup. I know y'all are excited for that one too.
Oh, absolutely. That is must watch. It's going to be packed when UCLA and USC face off. Maybe we could go together.
I would love that.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is funny you mentioned, the preparedness and intention. Coach Close has always been someone who's been about intention. And it makes a lot of sense that you started off our segment with us talking about intention as we enter our show. And we have a lot of intention for what's coming up next. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, but don't go away. Our girl, Mo Billings, is going to stay with us. She is a health and wellness expert. She's living the truth of health and wellness. And so we'll come back with a special segment just for her called Protecting Your Peace with Mo Billings. So stay tuned, stay with us. Welcome back to Good Follow Show presented by DraftKings. I'm Ros, she's Logan, and our special guest today is Mo Billings, and she is very well known for health and wellness. So we are launching a new segment for her and with her called Protecting Your Peace.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's right. Oh my goodness.
God.
So
You
cute.
guys are so good. I'm not that flexible. Let's be very clear. But I brought ambiance to the show in my love era, which I think,
your soft girl love era. Very fitting.
Yes,
I love it.
Yes. The props work. We have ambiance on the show. We got bells and we got games. Okay, so let's play
prepared.
Protecting Your Peace. I am prepared for it. Logan, what we got?
All right, y'all, we have to start off with Danielle Collins and the crowd at the Australian Open this past weekend. It was so crazy. Just take a look for yourself.
Has completed the deal on match point, a hammered backhand. And she's giving it to the crowd too at Key Arena. Just here at Melbourne Park, Danielle Collins.
So she was booed by the crowd throughout the match and while shaking hands with Australia's Destiny Aieva. So as we know, Australians also cheer a lot harder for Australians that are playing rather than an American. But she went on to blow kisses to the crowd and even did to her butt. And then in her post-match interview, she said this.
I was thinking during the match, I was like, if I'm out here, I might as well just take that big fat paycheck. And Coco and I we love a good 5-star vacation. So part of that check is going to go towards that. So thank you guys. Thanks for coming out here and supporting us tonight.
She really, yeah, right? That was my first thought about it.
Woof. I was like, girl, forget about protecting your peace. You gotta protect the bag here.
Definitely gotta protect the bag. I feel a couple ways about this, y'all. One side of me, I'm here for it. Like when I saw her blowing the kisses, I don't know about to the butt. That's, keep it classy, keep it respectful. But I like that she's engaging with the fans. I relate to this because when I play overseas basketball, it's kind of the same. If I'm in a different country, I'm getting booed by all these fans in a Turkish arena or in a Chinese arena. I'm engaging with it because if I'm balling and I'm feeling good, I like that type of energy. But at the same time, like you said, it is important to protect the bag. But nowadays, I don't know, it could go either way for her because some companies, corporations like that type of energy and will kind of play off of it in a silly, cutesy type of way. So I don't know, it was a little cringy. I feel multiple ways about it.
I think that's a good point. There are different types of bags. She may have talked her way out of the Rolex sponsorship. That whole response there with the reporter, it wasn't giving Met Gala invitation, in my opinion. But there's definitely a market for it. And I'm sure Americans rallying around her. And, I too can enjoy a good villain story here. She's definitely taking on the villain role. But my advice in watching that is just, all right, if this is your mission statement and brand, then own it. But otherwise, protect your peace and make sure you protect that bag.
Own it and back it up. Because if you're not playing at that level, don't even talk.
Now for some Unrivaled. Players have been bringing it in the first week of their Unrivaled tunnel fits. So how do we use fashion to get our minds right and protect our peace before stepping out onto the court?
Look good, feel good, play good, right? I mean, it's that simple. When you walk into that arena or any arena of life, you walk into the studio and it's like, ooh, I got my good shoes on today, my good outfit, my hair, my makeup. If that's what you're into, when you are feeling at your best, looking at your best, that is when you shine the best. And so I'm here for all of that.
Let me be very clear as we look at these pictures of Unrivaled athletes entering the arena. And Mo, I want your thoughts, Logan, which Skylar Diggins-Smith is delivering high fashion, couture, geometrical, silhouette, shape. It was very elevated. What did you think? Because I thought it was awesome.
Roz, I'm also loving Skylar's fit. She always brings it though, so that's kind of an expected thing. And shameless plug, my girl Christina Nigwe is her stylist. So KA Originals, she be killing it. WNBA Unrivaled season. But from this, I am loving what my girl Satu is wearing. She always has such an ethereal look about her outfits. Very light, elegant, classy. I love the color scheme here. So I'm gonna go with my girl Satu as my favorite in this.
Yes, Satu looked delightful, like a dandelion out there, just so beautiful in her yellow. It's as if she invented the color. And also, shout out to Christina Nigwe, also Team Naija.
Hey.
Okay, but this moment of fashion, walking through the tunnel, is like 30 seconds in actual real time. But like, how much time goes into preparing for it?
For me personally, maybe 40 minutes to an hour, but it's something that I truly enjoy because it's such a separation from the version that you see on the court. On the court, I'm in beast mode. Yes, you could do a little bit of blush, do a little bit of highlight, but it's not the same as when you put your favorite fit on and you're just strutting. You walking through like, I'm her, I'm here. That's a different type of energy. And when you bring that energy to the court, for me personally, I just feel like it sets the tone for the day. This is the type of game I'm going to have because I'm coming in correct. Y'all see me, y'all feel me, and y'all about to get these buckets. So it's totally worth it.
You about to get these fits, you about to get these buckets, all the things.
All the things.
That's actually something I've been jealous of because I was a golfer, so you don't really have like a walk-up fit. But we're talking about all these stars, and I think there was a story that was the most star-powered of the weekend, which was Taylor Swift and Caitlin Clark sharing a suite at the Chiefs divisional round game in Kansas City. Caitlin mentioned before that she's a Swiftie, has gone to the Eras Tour a couple of times, and I think Taylor gave her like bags of merch and has written her letters. But how can Caitlin protect her peace and nerves when meeting her hero like in person and spending this whole game with her?
I would say just being present, enjoying the moment, realizing like she's having opportunities that people could only dream of, and just being solidified in that. And who knows, Taylor Swift, that Caitlin Clark might be her hero as well. So it could go both ways.
Yeah, I'm so happy for Caitlin to even just have this moment where she can be in awe of someone else and, you know, feel like a normal person. I feel like so much of her life is in a magnifying glass and there's so much protection that has to be done around her. Here's a moment where you like get to meet your hero. I mean, I didn't even know she wrote her letters. That's adorable. I did see the pictures of the bracelets, but when you're in that moment where you meet your hero, like knowing what to say is so hard, you know? Like, I'm curious who yours would be. Mine would be Beyonce. And I have met Beyonce, and I'm here to tell you right now, you may not believe it, but I was for a lack of words. I couldn't think of what to talk about. I was like, Jesus, Roz, find a conversation starter. I think we talked about dogs and jaundice on babies or something. Like I had nothing better. I wish I could redo it, but she was so regal and kind and really took her time with you. So meeting Beyonce was incredible. Who would that person be for you real quick?
For me, it would probably be, I want to say Serena Williams. I've met Alexis a few times, but one time I even got to talk to her or had a conversation with her. And I was like, okay, like, I don't know what to say. Like, you're in women's sports, and I wanted to keep it on that. But at the same time, like, your wife and the mother of your children is the literal Serena Williams. Like, that's so insane, especially as somebody who grew up watching a ton of tennis.
I would say for me, my hero is Tyra Banks. Having grown up watching America's Next Top Model, we talked about the tunnel fits, the tunnel walks. I used to come in my mama's living room and practice my catwalk, watching America's Next Top Model, wanting to be on that show. Tyra Banks has just always been that girl for me and still is. So yeah, she's my hero.
Okay, as we wrap up here, we talked about it in the first show. Logan and I did a photo shoot and we were learning how to smize, or I was trying to teach Logan how to smize. So as we let you go here, you said you're a student and a fan of Tyra Banks. So Mo Billings, I know you got this big old smile all the time, but can you leave us with a good smize? Can we see it?
Can y'all do it with me or I have to do it by myself?
Okay, on the count of three. On the count of three, let's smize. Okay.
I'm ready, Annie. I'm ready.
2, 1.
I can't. I was so bad at it. I can't do it.
I told you, I'm like, it comes from within. You gotta get relaxed. Let us know who has the best smize. Oh my gosh. We started with intention. We finished with a smize. Thank you so much, Monique Billings, for joining the show. This is the first time, but not the last time. She'll be on with us a lot. So thank you so much for coming, girl.
Thank you for having me. So proud of both of y'all. All love.
All love. And thank you for protecting your peace. And give it up for Mo Billings. This is what the bell is for. This is what the bell is for great guests like Monique Billings. All right, guys, that's enough of that. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Good Follow, presented by DraftKings. I'm Ros Logan, and I am here to talk with you about an upcoming Unrivaled matchup. It is Friday's first game between the Phantom and the Mist. It's going to come down to some great talent, determination, teamwork, and it's going to come down to one of those teams getting their first win in Unrivaled play. So there are two players I've got my eye on, two of the top players in all of women's basketball, and I'm looking at 2025 WNBA champion Breanna Stewart of the Mist. She is a player that you can depend on to fill up the scoring and the rebounding tab, and her team has been struggling with efficiency. And historically, Breanna Stewart is a super efficient player. So I expect with them having a whole week to practice, she'll look more comfortable out there as well as the whole team. On the other side, Satou Sabally has such a versatile game that I think in a 3-on-3 format will allow her to take advantage of extra space and different mismatches and just get buckets. Oh, and not to mention, she's been working out with Jimmy Butler at the Unrivaled campus. So I expect her to put up numbers. So, Logan, that's what I'm thinking is coming out of this Unrivaled matchup here and those star players. This segment is presented by DraftKings. DraftKings, the crown is yours. You know what, Logan? We're almost out of time and we're at the end of the show. So you know what we like to do is just have a couple of quick hits of other headlines that we didn't get to.
I have a few. For the first, this one is huge. Dawn Staley became the highest paid women's basketball coach, signing a contract extension through the 2029-2030 season worth $25 million.
She is where the money resides.
Oh my gosh. I feel like that number isn't even comprehensible, but you also, what I appreciate about it is you see these numbers in men's sports, men's basketball. Yeah. And Dawn Staley deserves this so much.
Absolutely. I mean, the winning, the resume, bring on the bag. As there's more attention to women's basketball, so should be how we're, rewarding these coaches.
Exactly. And I think right now, Gino Auriemma is the highest paid coach before Dawn signed that extension. But speaking of UConn, Paige became the fastest UConn player to reach 2,000 points, which also seems like a lot.
Mm-hmm. And the fact, that she's overcome so much injury in her career and starts and stops, and she still is able to put up not only this tremendous number of points, but at the fastest in UConn history. I mean, think about the talented players that have come through that program. It really says a lot about her.
And I feel like volleyball fans are having a huge year. There's so much going on in volleyball, but y'all are getting a new league. Kerry Walsh and investors announced a new league called the Major League Volleyball, and it will be launching 10 franchises in 2026 with over $1 million in funding. There's just a lot of big numbers going on today.
We love to see it. We love to see it. Come on, women's basketball. I think people have their eyes on what Unrivaled's doing and all these things, new leads, new disruption, and new money into women's sports.
I do question with love volleyball going on right now. How is it going to, is it going to be competition between the leagues? What's going to happen there? What players are going where? How are we signing new players? There's so much going on, and I feel like it'll be some tea too.
Yeah, you know what that means for us as broadcasters, but more importantly as sports fans? It means that the women's sports news cycle doesn't just end. It's ever present. It's ever going. We are always going to have the chance to talk about something spicy or tremendous in women's sports. So Good Follow Show, it is presented by DraftKings. Good Follow is a must follow. She is Logan Hackett. I'm Ros Logan. Thank you to Mo Billings for coming on today. What a show. We got more coming. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.